Welcome to episode 52 of Motivating Mondays, a weekly podcast and YouTube series dedicated to help Canadian job developers and other employer engagement professionals develop the tools, resources, expertise, and network to excel in achieving sustainable employment outcomes for their clients or students. My name is Christian St. Cyr, National Director of the Canadian Job Development Network, and today we're going to take a look at the new regulations requiring employers to double the amount of time that they try to recruit local workers before turning to temporary foreign workers. The business community is saying that there aren't any local applicants, and the feds want them to prove this. To top it off, they're also requiring employers to demonstrate that they've attempted to recruit youth, as levels of youth unemployment reach historic highs. You know, on Monday mornings, I often stop at my local McDonald's to pick up a coffee before Motivating Mondays. There appears to be no less than a dozen temporary foreign workers employed at this particular McDonald's. Now, we don't have any recent data, but in 2014, roughly 4% of McDonald's 85,000 employees in Canada were temporary foreign workers, with 268 of their 1,400 restaurants utilizing the program. Now, that's still 3,400 employees, and data suggests that that could be a lot more today. According to Open Council, the number of temporary foreign workers at food counters increased by more than 4,000% between 2016 and 2023. Employers argue they need temporary foreign workers because they cannot hire locally. Now, this McDonald's wasn't at a roadside in the middle of nowhere. This isn't an apple orchard 20 kilometers from the nearest town. I live in a city with a population of 115,000 people, part of a larger city with 2.6 million people. In my city alone, there are 3,600 people looking for work right now. And of those 3,600, there are 1,400 young people between the ages of 15 and 24 looking for work. In my community, the youth unemployment rate is 13.8%, and local employers are saying that they can't find anyone to take these jobs. Across the country, 2 out of every 5 job seekers are between the ages of 15 and 24. In my community, employers say that they can't hire anyone, and young people say that they are applying for jobs and not getting any calls. Someone is lying here. Actually, many people are lying here. Last week, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business came out and said that businesses will go out of business if they're not permitted to hire temporary foreign workers in their communities with a higher unemployment rate. Now, there was a CFIB study, a survey of businesses who had turned to temporary foreign worker program to meet their labor market needs. 57% said that they would have to scale back their growth plans if they could not retain or have access to foreign workers, and 52% said that they would be unable to fill orders or render services. Nearly a quarter, 24%, said that they would have to reduce their hours of operation, and 18% said that it is very likely that they would have to close their operations. Think about that, 18%. That means 1 in 5 businesses that use TFWs say that they would be out of business if they couldn't use TFWs. More than 1.3 million work permits are set to expire this year, threatening what the CFIB refers to as significant economic and labor challenges. Some estimates show that more than 300,000 work permits were due to end by the end of March alone. Do you actually think that a business would close up shop rather than try to figure out a way to hire more people locally? As an example, a McDonald's franchise in Canada requires $1 million non-borrowed personal funds to qualify, with a total investment ranging from about $1.4 million to $2.9 million Canadian. The initial non-refundable franchise fee alone is $45,000, and people are committing to a 20-year term with additional costs for equipment and rent. McDonald's doesn't exactly disclose their acceptance rate, but some sources suggest the acceptance rate of applicants to own a franchise is less than 1%. Whether it's a McDonald's franchise or your local auto shop, employers have a lot invested and a lot to lose. I started my first job when I was 14 years old, working in a local Greek restaurant. I'm embarrassed to say it, but on my very first day, I was 45 minutes late and proceeded to make a dozen other mistakes as the weeks followed. My employers did what most employers did in those days. He rolled his eyes, he shouted a lot, he swore at me in Greek, he pushed me to do better, and demonstrated, frankly, a lot of patience. This is how employers used to train workers. They would get a lump of clay without any work experience and unreasonable expectations and train them. It's not to say that employers don't want to hire young people or other residents. They would just prefer to hire TFWs. They want people who will shut up and do their work, not complain, and not have anything else going on but what is expected of them. They would like someone who's just grateful to have a job. While the federal government is coming in to try to push employers to reconsider hiring local residents, including young people. As of April 1st, employers applying for the Labor Market Impact Assessment under the low-wage stream of the Temporary Foreign Worker Program must now advertise positions for a minimum of 8 consecutive weeks. Now that's double the previous 4-week requirement. The advertisement must still occur within 3 months before the LMIA application is submitted. At least one of the 3 recruitment activities must also remain ongoing as Employment and Social Development Canada issues a positive or negative LMIA decision. For employers, the longer advertising window means more lead time is needed before an LMIA application can be filed. Employers who are planning to hire through the low-wage stream must now factor this extended timeline into the recruitment planning. Alongside with the new requirement, ESDC has also added targeted outreach to youth as an acceptable method of recruitment. The government lists 5 specific activities that can count towards this. So number 1, youth-focused advertisements. Employers can post job vacancies on youth-oriented platforms such as the Job Bank's youth section, provincial or territorial youth employment programs, and post-secondary career centers. Job ads should clearly encourage youth to apply. Second, collaboration with educational institutions. Employers can partner with high schools, colleges, and universities to reach students and recent graduates through co-op placements, internships, career fairs, or on-campus recruitment. Number 3, participation in recognized youth employment programs. To take part in government-supported programs such as the Canada Summer Jobs Program or equivalent regional programs that connect employers with youth. Number 4, community and nonprofit engagement to promote job vacancies through local community centers, youth organizations, and employment support agencies that work with young job seekers. And number 5, digital and social media outreach to advertise job opportunities on platforms popular with youth to reach a wider pool of potential candidates. Whether an employer hires a young person or not, moving forward, if an employer is even eligible, it's going to be a lot harder to hire TFWs. Whether you work with youth, recent immigrants, those with disabilities, Indigenous Canadians, mature workers, or any other population that's really underrepresented in our job market, there's going to be an opportunity to reach out to these employers and argue for inclusive hiring. There are a lot of employers in the business community who argue for a laissez-faire approach to the economy. That's a French phrase and it means leave it alone. If employers can't find the workers they need, they'll raise wages, they'll improve working conditions, or they'll bring up the skill level of workers. That is the idea of having a labor shortage. Temporary foreign workers are an intervention in the labor market. It's not leaving it alone at all. It brings in an alternative that doesn't exist, and it suppresses wages for people who are in the job market. It drives part-time employment, and it makes jobs more precarious. It also dampens innovation. If employers in the agricultural sector can't find workers, they'll turn to technology and innovation to make farms less reliant on people. This creates better skilled, higher wage job opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against having a temporary foreign worker program. There are employers in rural and remote communities that have a genuine problem that cannot be alleviated with local labor. I also think that there should be a pathway to Canada for minimally skilled individuals. Outside our Indigenous population, we are a nation of immigrants, and that shouldn't be exclusively reserved for the highly educated, the wealthy, or individuals whose skills happen to be in demand at this particular moment. In job development, I don't believe our job is to shame employers, and it's never to convince them to do the right thing. I think there is an enormous benefit in hiring the individuals we represent, and if regulations restricting temporary foreign workers make this argument easier, I'm all in favor of that. Just a reminder, we are still doing our free trial for the Alberta, the Prairie, and the Atlantic labor market reports. If you'd like to see these reports or receive the trial, just visit jobdevelopment.org and click on the report for your region. Now, thank you so much for joining us. Please click the like or subscribe button in your platform. Search for Motivating Mondays wherever you download podcasts. We'd also love it if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and or rate or review this podcast. Now, we do these sessions live and for free every Monday morning on Microsoft Teams. We have job developers from across Canada joining us. It'd be so great if you could join us. Just go to jobdevelopment.org to learn more. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email to my direct email address. It's cstcyr@labormarketsolutions.ca. Thank you so much for your time and have an amazing week.